Everyone, this is Ben Wilkening hosting our fleet manager here, Bryant Colton. This is our very first episode of Jones Ford Verde Valley's Market Insights. Our aim is to do this on a weekly basis to provide the customer base of here in the Verde Valley, those that are at least in earshot or rock's throw distance to the dealership here, with some valuable market insights that whether they use it to purchase a car at Jones Ford, one of our lots down in Phoenix, or anywhere, quite frankly, we want to provide a little bit of value and insight to people that are looking around at new and used vehicles. This is something that will hopefully run the gamut in the years to come and the weeks to come. It gives you guys, the audience, a little bit of an insight into what's happening in the news in the automotive space, what's happening in news with Ford, how specifically might that relate to Jones Ford as a dealership group, and maybe have some fun along the way. So Bryant is my cohort here, who's going to be our knowledge expert on some of this stuff, and I will host the flow. Welcome to the show, Bryant.
Thanks.
Today, we're going to start off by kind of congratulating Ford's efforts over the last few months with their Ford A-Plan employee pricing and the market share they're able to gain from that. Going into the employee pricing, but what was it, 4 months ago, 5 months ago when they activated it?
Yep, 5 months ago.
How successful did you think it was going to be when they launched the first language you were seeing at the dealership?
You know, we were really excited. Actually, as a dealership, we went out and bought more trucks for this event just because we knew it was going to hit hard with a lot of people.
Specifically with trucks?
With trucks, yes. I mean, we went and bought probably 20 or 30 Super Duties just to have more on the lot. Probably about 10 or 15 F-150s just to get our lot full again for this event. And like we thought, I mean, it was a great event for us. We did, 38 last month, brand new ones. I think the month before that, we were right about 40. So yeah, no, it's been a great event for us.
I'm newer to the dealership. I actually, funny thing is I actually purchased a vehicle from this very dealership here, Jones Ford Verde Valley, during the course of the employee A-Plan pricing, and now I work here. So if that gives you any indicator of how successful it was for me as a customer turning into an employee of a Ford dealership, it was actually fun for me to participate in it too, because it got me to actually pull the trigger on a Bronco, which I'd been considering for many, many years. Is that kind of a similar refrain you heard from other customers too, or?
A lot of it, yeah. I mean, when you get employee pricing, I mean, people are like, wow, the manufacturer is making so much money and your car dealer is making so much money on you. When you take all that out, employee pricing, I mean, that's actually the employee pricing that they gave you was $100 better than what an employee actually could buy that vehicle for.
That's what you told me when I was buying.
I mean, you actually
car,
bought it cheaper than what I could buy a vehicle for.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. So I mean, some of the statistics I'll read off here that Ford was pretty successful with. They increased their overall market share in North America by 2%, and they also beat out Toyota to retake a crown they've held before as America's best-selling brand, which is a pretty cool thing to say now that everybody's kind of on the Toyota bandwagon these days. Yeah. You know? Definitely. How long has it been since that's been acclaimed, do you think? I guess we could look it up, but yeah, how long has it been since you remember?
I've been here 9 years. And I don't know if in the 9 years I could say that we could claim that.
It's their best-selling
brand.
Yeah,
I mean, we've beat them in trucks year over year and year, but overall brand loyalty and those Toyota people,
yeah,
they love it.
So, kind of fun. It's going to be an interesting pivot now that Ford's making. Now that the employee pricing, literally as of the recording today, it's done. Today's the 7th. July 7th is the day of the recording, and Ford is now stepping into their summer sales event. And that's something they always do, right?
Yeah.
Summer sales event's just a different promo
promo and everything with coming off of the A-Plan pricing, the employee pricing. You knew that Ford was going to have to come up with something big. I mean, it wasn't going to be just a small thing because, hey, how are you going to get people into the dealership if you were just giving them employee pricing? So some of the stuff that they've come out with is pretty amazing. I think you have more of the list than what I do.
We just got the list today. So like fresh off the presses, we are now pivoting to some deals where Ford's going to be a lot more focused on customers that are payment driven for the next foreseeable future here, at least through the end of quarter three. There's some collateral we'll throw up here on screen. Max, our esteemed video production and camera guy, is probably going to be able to put some of these graphics up on screen for you as we go through this, so you guys can see some of the figures that we're talking about represented there. But for the 24 and 25 model year, pretty much everything in the lot, with a couple of exceptions, I'll list in a few minutes. But there's going to be a zero down, zero payments for 90 days, and 0% interest for 48-month financing terms, with an additional 2-year, 25,000 mile premium maintenance plan thrown in for free. So, which means Ford's service department, I think they call it Ford Protect. Is that
Ford Protect,
is that
yep.
the branding? I'm still learning
That's the
some of
branding,
this
yeah.
stuff. Honestly, forgive my ignorance of some of the branding stuff. But the Ford Protect plan gives what, Bryant? What all does that do?
So it's going to cover that 2 years, 25,000 miles that they're going to be adding to your plan. Is going to be covering your oil changes, your recommended maintenance, whatever is in your booklet for your maintenance for the vehicle. It's going to be covering up for that for 2 years or up to 25,000 miles.
It's not a bad deal.
No, it's
Especially with all the zero
deal.
down.
Yeah.
It's probably not something they've done terribly often, I'm going to guess, with the extra
I don't think
incentive
I've
with
ever
the
actually
Protect.
seen them put a Protect on any of their units. So yeah, it's a brand new thing. And once again, we had to overcome A-plan pricing, so they're throwing kind of everything at you on this one. But yeah, the Ford Protect, it's a great. If you're putting a lot of miles on your vehicle, it's going to pay for itself. I mean, pretty quick because it's thrown in on the deal. But if you don't have to worry about your maintenance or anything like that for 25,000 miles or up to 2 years, I mean, there's some people that, hey, in 2 years they may use it twice. But there's some companies or people that I work with that, hey, they're going to come in every couple of months for an oil change.
And normally, even on your typical warranty and insurance packages you can get through the dealer, your standard maintenance is something that's not typically covered, but it is going to be covered here under the Protect plan.
Correct.
That they're throwing in with this thing.
Correct. Ford, you can always purchase them from a dealer, a premium maintenance plan from a dealer, but it's never been thrown in that I can remember, at least, once again.
So again, everyone, this is going to be probably something you're going to hear quite repetitively as we continue to do these videos. Every week, we're probably going to promote this deal until it's over, but you heard it here first. Zero down payment, zero payment for 90 days, 0% interest for 48-month financing terms. This is well-qualified buyers, of course. And it's going to be eligible on 24 and 25 model year Mustangs, Escapes, F-150s, Mustang Mach-E's, and then the 25 model year Explorer, F-150 Lightning, and 24 model year Expedition, Bronco Sport, Super Duty pickup, and Transit vans. So the exceptions, maybe it's helpful for the listeners to hear about the exceptions in here. It looks like the 25 Broncos, the 25 Bronco Sports, the 25 Super Duty pickups, and the 25 Transit vans will be exceptions to the rule. They won't be included within the constraints of these pricing mechanisms. But there's still plenty of 2024 Broncos and Bronco Sports out there, I can attest. And we even still have maybe one or two Super Duty examples that
I think we
would
have three currently,
at least on our lot, right?
Yep.
So in addition to that, the leasing terms. The leasing terms are also, and this is something I've actually learned working here for a pretty short period of time. We don't do a lot of leases at this dealership. I did my first lease with a customer maybe a couple weeks ago, and I learned that I was the first one of the entire month to do to get one of those out the door. So, what do you think about? Because there's some leasing options that are part of this promo too. We're going to go over. They're pretty aggressive and an opportunity for some people that are payment driven to get into some examples that they might have been eyeing for a long time. But I guess just as a starting point on leases, what should people be looking for if they're going to choose this promo and come shop at the Ford dealership and shop at a Jones lot? What are they going to be looking for, do you think, when they're comparing a lease promo to a summer sales event purchase promo that we were just talking about within those other vehicle categories?
They're both going to have their benefits. Obviously, if you're a customer that, hey, I keep my truck for 10, 20 years, then obviously a standard purchase is going to probably be best for you. But the leases, to me, it's always for somebody that, oh, hey, I like my cars. You get a new one every couple of years. I don't put a lot of miles on and everything. So it's more beneficial for them to do a lease. I did one a couple of years ago because I hadn't used my credit for a while. So I needed to use my credit.
Yeah.
So I leased a Ford Fusion, and it worked out great for me. My residual at the end of it, I could buy it back at the end of my lease. So it was one of those that I wasn't 100% sure on the car that I was choosing. Even though I liked the Ford Fusion, I wasn't sure if it was going to be the ultimate in-game car for me. So basically, I leased it for 2 years, and then after the 2 years, I bought it out because I did enjoy the car, and I actually ended up liking the car. So it's kind of benefits for both. It all depends on your driving pattern and what you're going to be using the car for. Really is what I kind of view on those.
Do you think there are going to be some sizable changes within, 3 years from now? 3 years is a pretty typical lease term, right?
Standard lease.
People get 2-3 year leases these days. So 3 years from now, is it fair to say that Ford's about to facelift and or upgrade certain vehicle lineups entirely? That by the end of the leasing term, a customer in a lease might be able to look at something that's truly revamped,
Yeah.
let's say, yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. In 2027, I believe they are going to start revamping a lot of their lineup, at least. We just got the Expedition this year on the 25s. So I don't think anything will be totally redone on the Expeditions at that point, but they'll redo the Super Duties, the F-150s that here in 2-3 years, depending on your lease, you could get into the new body style, I guess is what they'd call it.
Right. So it's something to look for. It's more of like a time release benefit for the customers that are getting the leases versus the people that are looking to get into something new.
It really
right
is.
Away, right?
It really is because, I mean, there'll be something on that truck that you're driving or car that, hey, I leased a car this year or 2 years from now. You may not like that new truck. Well, okay, perfect. Buy your lease at the end of your lease. You still got the truck that you love, but you have the opportunity to upgrade.
Right. It's almost too good to pass up, at least considering, because some of these pricing promos that they've got on these models, let's just start reading these off for everybody. For the same sales event, this is still the terms for the summer sales event that Ford's running promo as of today, the day that this is being posted, I guess, on the 8th. July 8th is good. 2025 will be the first day that these are available. But you're going to be able to get into a zero down payment, similar to the purchase options that we outlined prior, a zero down payment lease in a Mustang EcoBoost, a Mach-E Premium, an Escape Active trim, any Bronco Sport, Mustang GT, 5 liters, the Bronco Big Bend, Explorer Active trim, F-150 STX trim, or a Lightning Flash trim. And these are all going to range anywhere from $399 to $499. $399 is going to be your Mustang EcoBoost, your Ford Active, your Ford Bronco Sports, and then your Mustang GTs, your Bronco Big Bends, Explorers, and F-150s and such. Those are going to be your $499 price range. But I would actually contend a lot of the people looking even at the zero down payment, 0% interest option, they might not be able to get into a payment that's quite that low, depending on the vehicle that they're looking for, right?
Agreed. So, I mean, if you're looking at say an Expedition, a F-150, if you were doing a base model, getting down to that low of a payment would require you to put some money down because we are looking at 0% for 48 months.
Right.
I mean, it's not a longer term loan where you could get maybe that payment if you were going 72 months, but that 0% is kind of hard to say no to. I'd rather hang on to my money.
Right. Those are the trade-offs. Those are the trade-offs on the options. But you heard it here first. Again, we've got a couple of promos to talk about whenever you come in to a Jones Ford lot. Hopefully you're coming into the Verde Valley lot so you can talk to Bryant or myself or any of our other seasoned sales professionals around here. But I guarantee that by the time you walk in the doors, we're going to be a little bit more versed in these deals. We'll be able to walk you through all of your options and figure out maybe through your next vehicle shopping journey what might fit you best. I think the only exclusion, whether as a vehicle that isn't included on any of these deals, is that the new 2025 Expeditions that Bryant mentioned. Those are such a new revamp, such a new rollout with new tech and kind of a true upgrade over the previous Expedition that those aren't on special yet. But Ford's pretty aggressively still giving some great deals on stuff that you can find in the lot here. So,
and I don't
fun
think
stuff.
Sorry, I'm going to cut in. Don't think it goes with the Raptors either.
The Raptors either.
Fortunately, you can't get 0% on the Raptors. Sorry to say.
It's a very good point to make. Obviously, we didn't read off explicitly that Raptors were on the list, but yeah, those of you that have any questions about Raptors specifically, I even just asked. We don't even have any current allocations on those right now. We might get some more, but those are still kind of tough to come
Bronco
by.
Raptors and Raptors, or Raptors period?
Finding out more on the Bronco Raptor allocation, but at least on the F-150s, we're short on allocation of those at this point. So that's pretty much what we know about the summer sales event for now. Maybe next week we'll have some more information to share with you on that, but it's a little bit raw, and we have a bunch of handouts to course through just to get you the latest info in
that we got 30 minutes ago.
Yeah. But I think I'm going to move on to some of the other sales highlights that Ford has been able to pull off this year. We touched on, when we started the show, the employee pricing deal. Obviously, we're comparing the new sales event promo to that. But Ford actually was able to get up their retail sales number year over year by another 10, 11%. Their fleet sales, which is something that you can speak to specifically, was a very impressive figure. They sold 56K units in June 2025, which is a 26% increase year over year. What do you think that says to market strength in that sector? I mean, a lot of people would say that the economy is kind of iffy right now. But that figure right there with the fleet sales would suggest that if you're in a business looking for a commercial vehicle, maybe not such a grim picture, huh?
Yeah, no, not a grim picture. I think a lot of those numbers, they were up from previous years, especially with the A-plan pricing. A lot of times that when you get to fleet commercial accounts and everything, you don't get the special deals that everybody gets. It's okay, but with the A-plan pricing, hey, even your business could get A-plan pricing. So when you're looking at trucks, I mean, if you're looking at a Super Duty, it was $6, $7, $8, $9 off the price of a truck. That a lot of the, what I'll say, commercial clients were like, hey, you know what? We have some old trucks. Now is a great time to get into something else because the value of my values on trade-ins are still very high comparatively from, say, 5-6 years ago.
Still hold those from the COVID period, right?
From the COVID period and everything, that they're still holding their numbers very well. That a lot of customers of ours at least saw the value of upgrading and everything like that, and taking advantage of that pricing. Now, would they have rather had the 0% for 48 months? Maybe some of them might have if they were financing, honestly, but we'll work at this.
Well, they're fleet customers. They need multiple vehicles anyway, so you can always call them and give them a financing deal in addition to
I know you bought some last month, but let's tell you some more.
Yeah, what happens typically when you get a customer that way? That's a good point to bring up. Like when an old promo ends and a new one that's just as aggressive and just as strong in many ways as this one is, you know, you almost think you can't beat the employee pricing. There's this rush to buy. There's inappropriately so. Yep. You want to take advantage of a good deal, but then when Ford brings out just kind of a different flavor of almost an equally good pricing aggression target. Do you ever get those customers that have regret, and how do you kind of steer steer them and ease their mind a little bit that they've still made the right call.
Still made. You know, it is one of those that you do have that whenever they come out with new benefits, I guess is what I'll call it.
There you go. That's probably a better word for it.
That it is always kind of hard because us as dealers, we don't know what's coming up next either.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're going to have some people that regret it or, oh man, I should have just held off that extra day instead of buying one on the 7th.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, that said, that $8,000 off that they're getting right now, rates are coming down a little bit. Okay, if we worked the deal, if you were financing and everything, that yeah, you could have waited another day and got 0% for 48 months or however it may be. But I don't see a lot of people regretting saving the $8,000-9,000 on a plan over, hey, getting a little bit better of a rate.
Okay.
Like I said, it all depends on the client, unfortunately. But I haven't had anybody really regret their purchase.
Well, that's.
Do you regret?
No, I
yours?
don't. That's what I was just going to actually just throw it in there. It's a good point to make because I mean, in the same category, looking at these deals, yeah, they're good and everything, but I also got the benefit of driving my Bronco and enjoying it for an extra couple of months in addition to whatever the next thing on the agenda would have been for the promo. And maybe that's the best thing I can say about it is I've had a fun car to drive around and off-road with, toy around with for a couple extra months in addition. So that's probably the trade-off I would say. But the even throughout all the Ford employee pricing and the promo that's being run on the payments, we still haven't sold quite as many EVs, and I think that's kind of nationwide symptom of a lot of things going on politically, tariff-wise. You've got the big beautiful bill that is lessening some of the EPA restrictions. There's a lot of stuff going on relative to EVs, and we're not seeing as much buyer interest in those. So they're still wonderful products.
Oh, and fantastic.
And the only thing really holding back, I think, if I had to gander a guess, maybe some of the Ford EV performance is that the Mach-E's have had a little bit of a recall. Let's call it. They've had a little bit of a recall stint over the last a couple months, right? That they've had some
recalls,
some electronic issues that they've been trying to work out to the equitable ways that they can. What are some things that we can discuss just here amongst ourselves for the benefit of others, if it's actually a good insight for them to take into their purchasing decisions that can help them throw an EV into the mix if they're not considering one in addition to, like, say if somebody's looking at a Ford Mustang, just like a EcoBoost one, and comparing it to the Mach-E. Mm-hmm. What might we say to a customer like that is looking at the EVs and they say, well, strictly the only reason I'm not looking at an EV is because I'm uncertain about it. Yep. You know, because I think that's the main thing I hear from people. They don't really know why they're uncertain about it, but they're uncertain about it for all the things that they've heard.
Yeah, and you're going to get that with the products, obviously. I mean, with the Mach-E, we got it with at least in my world of the fleet world, when we went to the 3.5 EcoBoost. Yeah. Oh, I don't want a V6 in my truck. I will never drive a V6. It's got to be a V8. We went through the same thing. I mean, it's a building process of really kind of educating the client or getting them into the dealership to actually drive the vehicle. I mean, the EV market, I mean, with the Lightning, the Mach-E's, we've done well up here with them. Now, there is still that, oh, hey, there's not enough charging places and everything like that. And that's obviously with everything, it's going to start growing and growing and growing. Mm-hmm. But it's actually getting somebody in to the dealership to actually drive one. I mean, honestly, I don't know very many people that can come in and drive, say, a Mach-E and not have the biggest smile on their face after that test drive. Now, if it's going to be the right vehicle for you, say, hey, I'm going to different states or going long distances all the time and I don't want to wait to charge. Okay, yeah, you're going to have to stop and charge every once in a while, granted. But I have to go to the bathroom when I'm on the road. I have to get snacks when I'm on the road.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just need to stretch my leg. That if you kind of space it out and figure out, okay, hey, this is the trip I'm going on. Okay, I'm going to need to stretch my legs here. Charge then. I mean, a lot of the people that are, oh, hey, I'm going to get it clear way down to zero. Well, don't get it completely to zero, because then you're just asking. It's kind of like running your car out of gas.
Yeah.
I mean, would you do that? No. Well, hopefully not. But unfortunately, my mom does.
Unless they treat the battery life like their phones, and sometimes people have pretty bad habits around their phone charging, I guess. So maybe that can extend to some of the anxieties they feel about their car that's also electrified, I suppose, which is probably fair. But you know, people even adapt. Then they go buy bigger battery packs. They buy fast charge packs for their phones, which is kind of what you're saying. There are different adaptations that a customer can use, behaviors that they can change. It should make it a little bit more.
I mean, Parker,
reasonable,
our GM, he drives a Lightning. He lives
Commutes down to Phoenix and back
every single day.
Yeah.
And he's just wise enough. Okay, when he gets home, he plugs it in. When he gets up here, he plugs it in. He never has to worry about, oh, hey, I'm not going to have enough charge to get home. It's
And
just like
he does have the
mindset.
fast charger at home too.
He does have the
'Cause
fast charger at home.
That is one of the things to mention too. Is the fast charging station is something that is only $500 now. It used to be $1,000.
Yep.
And so that's a really good add-on. That's going to save you a lot of money from what the thing used to cost. And I believe it's a full charge in 8 hours, right? Is that what that thing's rated at versus a full charge in 24 hours, which is what the standard one comes with.
Just plug into your wall.
Yeah. So for $500, add that onto your vehicle purchase deal. You can get a fast charger installed. Now, still free installation on that as far as the Power Promise situation goes, or this Power Promise
honestly would have
program?
to check with the new programs and everything that just came out. I don't know.
Asterisk on that. That was a deal for a little while, but
we'll put up a blip.
Yeah, a blip. We'll correct the record if that's not the case. But one of the other things, I guess, which kind of parlays into just a generalization of something we hope to cover on this show on a weekly basis, if it's relevant, are, recall notices. Ford's been actually taking care of a lot of them this year. And when you look into a lot of it, it's actually kind of kudos to Ford for being so diligent about fixing things that are pretty minor in advance of anything catastrophic happening, and doing their best, in fact, more than their best, I've seen Ford that recalls vehicles, maybe it's just 2 examples, and they'll send flatbeds direct to the customers' houses, pick it up, white glove service to get them a courtesy vehicle delivered. It's not that Ford doesn't take care of their recalls in a fastidious and professional way. It's just that people have been seeing a lot of them hit the headlines this year. But I think one thing that we would like to probably create as an ongoing theme in this discussion is that a lot of the recalls that we do see are minor. They are fixed with a basic service appointment. And a lot of the time people don't even realize how minuscule of not minuscule, but how light the requirements are for a recall to be kicked off in the first place, right? Sometimes it's more surprising than people might realize, like, backup camera issue, like we see on so many of the vehicles. That's an example that you can point to that Parker also taught us pretty recently, that if there are 1 million instances across all of a model's or model years applications of a feature, if there are 1 million of those, so let's say with the backup camera, you toss the car into reverse, the transmission engages, that sends a signal through all of the thousands of feet of wiring and modules in the car to kick on the backup camera, and that backup camera hitches just for a second. That counts as a failure. And all it will take is 3 of those every 1 million attempts or applications of that feature for a recall notice to be issued. Pretty minor, right? Like it's
very minor.
So what is it that customers truly get in your experience, do you think, is it customers truly get hung up around, if anything, around recalls? We're just trying to do diligence here, I
Like
think.
I said, we're just it's one of those that whenever you hear a recall, especially when you buy a new vehicle, you're like, oh gosh, I just bought this and I'm already having problems with the vehicle. And it's not necessarily like the backup camera. I mean, it is a very minuscule. I mean, it's a backup camera. It's a safety feature. So Ford takes that very, very seriously anyway. But it's one of those that, oh gosh, I already have a problem with this new car, is where a lot of people get hung up. But you also got to remember how much technology and information that this car is ingesting at all times when you're driving it, backing up or anything like that. I mean, my computer, every once in a while it freezes. I turn it off and turn it back on, unfortunately. But at least that's how I feel.
Don't send a recall to Samsung.
Exactly. I don't send it to Samsung, Dell, or anybody else. It's just, hey, it's just something that's going to happen, unfortunately. Yeah. And it's not just Ford. I don't want to speak about anybody else's brand or anything, but it's not just us that have recalls. I mean, there's recalls for every brand out there. It's just people get hung up because, oh, hey, I just bought this and I already have a recall. I mean, some of them back in the day were, okay, how tight the torque setting was for your actual seat belt.
Yeah.
And most of them were torqued right, but there was one that was incorrectly torqued, or one of the guns that they were using in the plant was they found out was incorrectly torqued. So then, oh, hey, we're going to recall it to make sure that everything is safe.
And everything that touched a torque wrench of that variety with that setting on it.
Correct.
Yeah. It's interesting, a lot of that stuff that we see recalled these days, it seems to be a lot of the technology. It's a lot of the, like you're talking about, the computer managed parts of the management systems on the car. Yeah. It's not like the days of old necessarily where when you saw a recall, it was maybe a little bit more serious because it was almost always a mechanical issue. If you saw a recall, right? Like maybe back in the 90s or the early 2000s, even as recently as that. Yeah. And these days, I think, as far as I've learned and observed, the incidence rates of all the recalls that people see freaks them out because the number is more than it used to be. Yeah. But it, oh my gosh, Ford's had 40 recalls this year, kind of a thing. Yeah. Where in years past that we wouldn't have ever approached that number. But what we're saying is out of those 40 recalls, how many of them are minuscule little items that are just technology related module types of things that the car needs to get a little bit of a checkup or a retune or a software update or something very minor.
It's just like your cell phones.
Right.
I replace my cell phone probably every 2 years, and there's upgrades every single month. It seems like there's a new upgrade for it. Your car's the same thing.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, speaking of EVs, the electric division, even with us not being able to sell a lot of the Mach-E's for these backup cameras, and there was also a fob lock issue that was related with the technology. EV sales still went up over the course of June, even with recalls that we, for safety reasons, for just in case reasons, we had a certain amount of vehicles that we couldn't sell on the lot for about a week or so while those issues got figured out, right? So I think the future's probably bright for hopefully being able to look at some of these deals that you've got on our promos. There's even still going to be the retail cash, the customer cash deals that are still applicable to people that qualify for them, and then those incentives aren't going anywhere anytime soon. Although the government and all the big beautiful bill and all this stuff is talking about it, the very soonest that anybody would implement an end to the incentive program for EVs, it sounds like it's 2026. Yep. So there's still quite a bit of time to take advantage and figure out what you're going to do in your next step with an EV vehicle. And I think it's probably worth considering next time you maybe visit the lot, looking at these new promos we've got. So kind of look at my list. There's maybe a couple other things here I wanted to touch on in today's show. Of course, other news in Ford. We've got some, aside from the 25 model years, we've got some special trim packages that got announced here in June too, including the F-150 Lobo.
The Lobo.
What do you think about that thing?
You know, it's the Lobo, I'll say the Lobo culture. I'm from Southwest Nebraska, so lowered trucks and everything I didn't really get into too much personally, but there's definitely a following for it. We saw with the Lobo Maverick when they came out with it.
And that was earlier this year too, right? Like 2025 also?
Yeah. I mean, they're great looking trucks, I will say. Now, is it for me? Probably not just for me, but they are great looking trucks. So we're excited to add the Lobo to the lineup of F-150s. It just adds another touch point to a customer, honestly, because obviously it's not Lobo Joey, sorry. Max, the camera guy, is giving me hints on what to say back here. Actually one of our employees has
We've got a
Lobo.
One of our sales guys drives it. Yeah, it's actually a pretty attractive truck. He's got the white with black trim, and it's pretty cool. I like it.
No, I agree.
And at least with the Lobo, it's like Ford's commitment to the naturally aspirated motor too, because they're tossing the V8 5.0 liter in that thing.
And recently we've been doing a lot of, at least I shouldn't say a lot of them, but we've been doing Whipple superchargers on the 5.0 V8s.
Can you get that as an option on the Lobo thing?
It's something that we can install. I mean, it is something that we could do since we are already doing it to the 5.0 platform and everything. That we could put a Whipple supercharger on it for you, get a little over 700 horsepower out of your F-150. That's
turn into an actual successor to the old F-150.
Oh, exactly.
To the old street going.
The great thing about it is you're going to be under factory warranty on all the Lobo components, the F-150 components, and then we do the Ford kits for the Whipple superchargers, so you actually have warranty on top of that as well, as long as it's installed by an ASE certified technician. You get that, so you're not voiding any warranty with it.
Yeah.
So get a 700 horsepower F-150 Lobo.
How do you think that trim pad? It's not the same kind of a special edition, but let's take the Strope Edition Bronco, for instance, this year. Pretty cool trim package, I think, on that.
Very cool trim package.
It's got some performance upgrades. It's got the really sweet retro look for Bill Strope's, award-winning Baja trucks. But it was one of those trims where I feel like even with my Bronco Sasquatch with the 2.7 motor in it, I get probably most of the driving experience that I'd probably get out of the Strope at a price that might not dig into my pocketbook as much. But where does the Lobo sit on the spectrum of affordability in that special trim category?
I'm sure that you can
they're spec'd at 59
and everything.
Where they
59,
start.
so you're, in my mind, an XLT world. I mean,
there you go.
You have some nice conveniences and everything without going to a Platinum that, hey, I want massaging seats. But, I mean, it's XLT kind of platform, a little bit upgraded from being the Lobo edition, and it's going to have a little bit of a different look than an XLT.
So you can get a little bit more special sauce with your trim in that variation versus like something really ultra special, like a Strope, which is going to cost you
everything,
a premium over what you can buy really any Bronco for, other than the Raptors, I think. So. Yeah. It's coming. When does it come? I should have probably looked that up. It's coming this summer, right?
It's this summer.
Before the 2026s come out, it'll be hitting our lot.
Correct.
And I think we can order them.
Yeah.
We can at least
we can put in orders for them. Yeah. I'm sure that we have two for stock units for us coming in. But
we'll keep you updated on when we get some Lobos on the lot, perhaps on future shows, so you can know when one's available in true form, physical format. You can look at it and touch drive, touch, smell, taste. But so that's happening. And then, have you heard any particular other rumblings, I guess, about other entries into the trim category for the rest of the year before the 2026s come out?
No, but the 2026s, it's funny that you're saying the 2026s because F-150s, obviously you can order, but F-150 Super Duties, we can order 2026s now. Explorers, Escapes, there's a couple others.
So these are on the order book as we speak?
They're our order book. I actually have two Super Duties, 2026 Super Duties already scheduled. They'll get built 1st of August.
Are these models only that aren't getting facelifts that they've allowed us to?
For the most part, yeah.
Orders
I
on?
mean, you're not going to be able to do any orders on a 26 Expedition, obviously, right now because they just did a facelift on the Expedition.
Right.
So, but it is mainly primarily to stuff that there's no facelift. It's basically there's going to be wheel and tire changes, stuff like that, but nothing. That's a totally different truck.
Right.
But yeah, I'm trying to think. You got the Mustang GTD.
The GTD? How could I forget?
The GTD.
We're actually going to get an example of that.
It's funny that I bring that one up because the Mustang, it's a fantastic car. They're great, but I don't know too much about it. We should get Tyler on the show for that one because
if you've got $350,000 to spend, definitely go for a GTD and not a G-Wagon's AMG 63. Same price. I think you'll have more fun with the GTD. Not even in the same vehicle category, which is why I'm kind of joking at that. But we will. We'll probably release quite a bit more footage of the GTD stuff when we actually get the example in, because we're going to be doing some fun video production with that too. I have to imagine, and people will probably know when it's here, and we'll keep everybody updated. But to wrap up today's show. It's been a good first installment in a little bit. And by the way, if anybody that's watching has stories they want us to cover, they've got suggestions for a segment they want us to cover a little bit more deeply, we're going to evolve this show. We're going to get a little bit of a more sophisticated set probably to do this on. And honestly, it might be a little bit easier.
My office is a great set.
Well, we may even skip the set entirely and just do Zoom type of interface calls, side by side talking heads type of thing in the future. So it's easier for us to toss up graphs and different pieces of collateral that you as the audience can find out a little bit more visual reference information in addition to the little podcast style thing we're doing here. But yeah, your feedback is welcome and will honestly guide the show as a primary resource of places to gather insight and let's say inspiration to provide you the insight with, if you provide us some of those suggestions. So suggestions are always welcome in the comments.
Please.
But the last thing I wanted to cover is a little bit of another initiative we're sharing with people here at the dealer, in that you can get a free $20 gas card if you just swing by the Jones Ford Verde Valley dealership and test drive any, would it be the 2024 new or 2025
2024
new? It could really be any
yeah.
2024 or 25 F-150 with the 2.7 liter turbo motor in it, right?
Correct.
Why is it that we're doing that?
So I kind of touched on it earlier. We had a strange transition of, okay, hey, I know my Ford has a 5.0 V8, and then we went into the 3.5 EcoBoost. Mm-hmm. And we had kind of a mishap, and unfortunately we did a really good job of selling the 3.5, well, fortunately and unfortunately, I guess. We did a great job selling the 3.5 EcoBoost because, I mean, it performs. But we kind of left out the 2.7, I think, as us as a dealership, not necessarily all of Ford. That the 2.7 EcoBoost is a fantastic engine setup that we don't. I sell a number of them to commercial clients because, oh, hey, we're not towing heavy loads that I'm going to need to be pulling 13,000 pounds. So there's a lot of different, but it gets better fuel economy. The speed up on it actually from the initial is better than the 3.5 EcoBoost. And it's just a fun truck to drive. And you're also saving yourself more money. Because it's a little bit smaller engine, but the performance is all there. That it's one of those things.
So you're saying the 2.7 liter is actually a pretty fun engine that a lot of people maybe have hesitated to try out, especially F-150 fans, because they're just used to.
They're used to
what they're used to, right?
Yep, exactly.
So I mean, I can even say I've got the Bronco, I've got the 2.7 liter V6 and that, and it rips. I mean, you put it into sport mode. It's got plenty of torque. It's not. I think it's probably a little bit lighter than some of the more optioned out F-150s out there, weight wise. But it's never slouched on me to the point where I didn't think it was gonna give me immediate power. There's no turbo lag on it. So we're offering, to be clear, a free test drive of the 2.7 liter motor in an F-150 to anybody that wants to come in and check this out. In fact, we're going to give you a $20 gift card in addition to it being a free test drive, and there's no obligation to buy the thing. We want to share with all the customers that are coming through the doors here at Jones Ford Verde Valley what this motor's capable of. So tell your friends about this promo, collect a bunch of $20 gift cards, and go in on a road trip together or something. And
do we have to throw in one per client? One
only
per
one
guest?
per client. Limit one per client. That's probably
so.
a good limitation to throw in
May have
there
to
as
go get
the
some more.
stipulation. Yeah. But that's going to kind of wrap it up for today's show, guys. Again, this has been the very first inaugural episode of the Jones Ford Verde Valley Market Insights show that will, as we get more polished with it, take on a little bit more of a professional look and feel, and we'll get our topic lists a little bit more polished with some things that I think you'll really groove on just finding this show to be something we're giving to you all without any expectation of you purchasing from us or not. We, of course, hope that you do. Yeah. Anything else to add before we close out our first episode, Bryant?
No, thank you. Hopefully the comments aren't too mean towards me. A little nervous getting on camera here today, but no. Thanks for watching, I guess.
Yeah. We'll see you next week. Next week on probably July, probably 15th or 16th or something. You can expect us to do another one of these things. So anyway, thanks all.
Perfect.
Talk to you next time.